Okay, everybody. Hopefully this is going like it's supposed to be. We're going to go from these before and after shots in video to show you guys and girls at least what I did to get there.
Alright, everybody. I'm going to do some engine cleaning today on my cars. This 98 BMW 328i. As you can see, it is pretty dirty here. Haven't done this for a long time. I've already picked out the leaves from it, and then gonna do the Affinity G37 here, which is dirty. Also, obviously not as dirty, but picked out the leaves and everything from it so far. Watched some videos online of how folks do it. I'm certainly no pro, so I'm taking some of that advice. One thing that I see, some people spray it down with water first, some do not. They just put the degreaser on right away. I see people use lots of different kinds of degreasers. This one I picked up, it was on sale at O'Reilly. I'm sure you can get it wherever. I don't really know who makes this. I guess Super Clean makes it. I don't work for them or have anything to do with them, so I'm going to see how it works. So I'm going to do a little test, actually, of whether I should spray this stuff on first or spray it on after you wet the car down. So I think I'm going to have to do this again, but basically I've wet down some pieces in here. Okay, here's some plastic. Half of it's wet, half of it's dry. Kind of hard to see in this shade, but anyway, so I'm going to spray the stuff on there. This is a good piece right here. I'm going to spray the stuff on there and see if there ends up being a difference of whether the piece was wet or not to begin with. I would think, it's more diluted if you wet it down, so I don't really know why you would want to wet it first, unless that's to try and get off a bunch of surface dirt to make it easier for the degreaser. I don't know. I've seen people use citric degreaser, simple green, spray 9 I think is another one I saw in the video. So and I was going to leave it sit on here for a while. I was thinking sit on here for an hour, but I see people don't recommend that. But definitely don't get it on your paint, because it can eat stuff, cover up your alternator, and distributor with a plastic bag, just a grocery bag, throw it over it, and use a light, gentle spray, which I won't be able to show you much of that since I'm doing this one-handed. We'll be back. Okay, so the little test afterwards of where plastic was wet versus dry, and then the spray cleaner on top of that, the degreaser on top of that. It's not too much of a big difference, but I think what makes the most sense is to go ahead and spray down the car first, lightly, to get off, the thicker surface stuff that is basically just dirt and dust, you know what I mean? And then let it dry. So we'll get rid of this. You see, a lot of that comes right off, and it's just sitting on top. So what I think I'm going to do is just lightly hose this down. See, I haven't covered anything actually, which I should. And then I'm going to let this dry actually, so it knocks off the heavier surface dirt. Let it dry, and then put the degreaser on, because then once this is dried, you're hitting, that heavy dirt that is still stuck on here. You're hitting that straight, 100% with the degreaser, so it won't be diluted at all by any water that's on top of it. So we're going to let this stuff dry and come on back. Alright, so here we are back after having been just sprayed with water gently. You can see how it's looking now. I mean, a lot of that is surface dust, because a good amount of it is gone, but this kind of stuff is definitely not. So now we're going to start spraying with this stuff I showed you earlier. kind of windy out here. So just light spray on everywhere. Spray it from different angles so you're sure you're getting into every nook and cranny. Don't yell at me for whatever things I'm spraying I shouldn't be spraying. Alright, I'm sorry, I wasn't showing you what I'm doing. So just spraying this on here, covering everything. And I was going to leave it sit for an hour, but then it's going to dry on here. It's going to be hard to get off. So I'm going to spray it on here. I'm going to let it sit for probably 10 minutes, and then I'm going to use a little brush. Shit's spraying back in my face a little bit, so wear protection and gloves and blah blah blah. And I'm going to use a little brush. And I got the 99-cent store with a handle on it, and go around and scrub stuff. Just work this stuff in a little more, and we'll come back and see how it looks. It's the BMW going over here to do the affinity in a minute. Alright, so here we go after about 10 minutes sitting on here. You see we got definitely stuff, you know, running down. And since it's so hot out here today and the sun is really shining, I think I'm going to go over this with a brush pretty quick. So this stuff isn't drying in the sun too fast on everything, and then it's tough to get off. Which, well, basically since it's like 100 degrees out here today, that's already happened on the spots where the sun is hitting it. So to go back and do those individually, I guess. I'm going to scrub it off with a brush now a bit, and then hit it with a light hose. Alright, well, so this is after have the scrub brush going on it, and now going back and wiping down right away stuff that's in the sun, so it doesn't get all these water spots all over the plastic, and basically just the remainder of any grease that might be around here. I just don't want it to dry on here. And you know, I mean, this is looking great already, and honestly, I think what it comes down to is, yep, use a degreaser that you like, and I would rinse it down first, let it dry, use the degreaser, come back, scrub it with a brush, work on the, you know, pay attention to the lighter colored areas like here. That's where it's going to make the most difference in looking clean. And you know, you got to get down into little spots in here if you really want to make it look good. And some good old-fashioned elbow grease, of course. There's no magic bullet to this, not rocket science. Just putting the degreaser on, letting it do its thing, wipe it down, scrub it with that brush, and then we're going to come back and spray some shiny stuff on it, and you know, it's going to look totally different. And this is what the Affinity looks like, having sat for about 15 minutes with the degreaser on it. Now I'm going to go over this with the brush and add a little bit of water or a little bit of a degreaser as I'm brushing, just to loosen up this stuff that's sticking on there now. You see the spots up there on the wipers and stuff. So, and obviously you can do up top here. So I'm going to do that as well. Okay, so here we go, the BMW now, after being cleaned with degreaser, brushed. Same thing with the Affinity. Looks good. Now just need to get it to shine, so I'm going to hit it with Armor All. I have to say though, you know, I would say do this on a cold or overcast day when it's nice and cool out, because I was just rushing I was just fighting against time to get stuff dry really quick so it wouldn't spot, because we have such shitty hard water out here. And also when you degrease, you know, like all this white up here, just had the streaks all over, dirty, brown streaks on it. So that's the other thing I would say, is make sure you got plenty of towels. I would even have one in one hand that that is kind of the wetter one that you're wiping the degreaser with, and right behind it a dry one, so that you can get off any of those dirty streaks. Once your towel gets dirty, you're just wiping dirt on top of dirt, so you can't get it off. So have lots of towels. This kind of brush is pretty good, but it'd be even better would be a toilet brush. Because you'd have bristles all around the edges of it sticking out. This thing, kind of, hit the edges, hit on everything, and you can't get in everywhere. So, but I would say this size, or like a small toilet brush that has bristles all around would probably be your best bet. So now let's grab some Armor All here. This is just regular Armor All that I've had sit around for a very long time, probably a couple of years. Unfortunately, the sun is coming here again, but I wouldn't be hitting much of that stuff anyway. So, this stuff, don't have to worry as much about it spotting up, because once you basically rub it all over, then it's, well, you guys know how Armor All works. So, doing this, I'm not going to hit, this kind of painted stuff in here. Well, what the hell, I guess I will. It'll make it shinier at least. And then, see, it's dripping down. And grab my dedicated, shit, I just had one. Oh, here it is. So, gonna use my dedicated, other side, Armor All cloth. So that, because Armor All cloth's going to get all greasy on you, so you don't want to be using that again to be washing anything. And once you get some Armor All on the cloth anyway, and the cloth is kind of wet with Armor All, even if you didn't spray good somewhere, you're still going to be able to get some Armor All out of the cloth to, wipe, to shine up that area. So this is what it's looking like, and I'll come back and shoot both of these for you once they're all Armor All'd. Alright, y'all, there it is. So this is the, I'm going to go back and look at the video at these spots and see how dirty the stuff was. You can see it does look a lot better now. But that Armor All did spot up quicker than I thought it would, actually, so you got to be kind of on top of that too, spraying and wiping. With that, actually I would just spray, a piece and wipe down that piece, and then come back, then do the next piece. Here's the Affinity. Obviously the Affinity, looks better, cleaner. It's 10 years older, 10 years newer than the BMW is. But you really, if you want to make it look really clean and detailed, you just got to take that time and be willing to jam your fingers down into every little spot you can get into to try and clean it up, and be quick about it so you don't have Armor All spotting or water spotting before that. And so this is what you end up with. So I'd say all in all it's about an hour each car to do it. For me, at least, the amount of detail I was trying to get into it. So that's it. Enjoy. And while I clean up here, feel free to hit me up with any comments, questions, whatever. If there's a way you figure out how to do it better, faster, cheaper, then please let everybody know, because we're all trying to do that for our rides. So